Cheers, EOD family! It's your princess here with another live stream. I normally had no plans of streaming today, but then I got a lot of DMs, and I got DMs. Princess, what is going on? Is EIS Diplo winning? Is it true? Was there a 4 versus 2 offer from EIS? And people were even asking me if our Diplo changed. So and then I was saying, okay, I was busy the whole day with work. I was messaging Dark, and I said, did our Diplo changed? And then Dark said, no, lol, it's a 3 versus 3. And I said, I have no clue. And then he said, oh, okay, let me check out this here. And then we heard that there was things out on the stream set. But Boss Nasty, I think, did a live stream about it as well. And then Dark was talking to Mark. And welcome, Dark, here. We have his answer now here live.
Hello, everybody. Here, happy to be with Princess as always.
Welcome to the live stream. So maybe you can. I have nothing on yet, but you can maybe say what happened after I asked you about all that stuff, and you were super confused.
I mean, yeah, nothing's changed. It's still a 3v3. There was no 4v2 offer. I saw Boss Nasty post a video now running with the Echo propaganda that there was a 4v2 posted. I told Humble he was going to troll so much that you were going to have the idiots grab his content and start running with it, and that's what's happening. But I was laughing at Humble. He was having a good time saying we were going to 4v2 and 5v1 and making his claims to get everyone riled up. But there is no official offer anywhere, and I mean, Mark even made a statement himself for NTS to state what happened in Diplo.
I mean, overall, when we go a little bit back to the beginning, I think NTS and EIS have a good relationship, and I think I can only tell from my experience, NTS always stays out of the drama. NTS is super neutral looking at KVKs, and they say we don't have drama with anyone. We are just looking out for good KVKs, and that is what we go for. They're super famous. They are not talking in world chats and stuff like this because they want to avoid the drama. And we were allies with NTS in the past as well. So this is really what we have really to say, that we have, I think, a good decent relationship with NTS over there. And so yeah, and then Dark was asking Mark again, what is happening, right?
Yeah, I went to Mark and was like, hey, Boss Nasty claims, and he's sitting there on a stream saying that you said that we proposed a 4v2. Like that is not what we discussed at all. And then he came back and he's like, what's being said? I don't have time to watch Boss Nasty. I don't even know what's going on. And then he shared his conversation with Boss Nasty, and he was like, here's what I said to Boss Nasty. I think everything's accurate. Like, can you confirm? I read over what Mark said, and what Boss Nasty was pushing is nothing at all what Mark said to the guy. It even had me laugh because at points Boss Nasty said, so 2v, so EIS offered you a 2v4, and he's like, no, I can't say they offered a 2v4. And then Boss Nasty just ran with it. And then at the end of the video, he said, please show all of my words in full context, show everything fully, and then you're allowed to share it. And Boss Nasty did not share the screenshot. He did not share any screenshots or any of the proof fully, and just said what Mark said. So I've got the full context and everything from Mark on it.
Yeah, and then Doug told me that Mark allowed us to share it with us, and we also, I mean, Doug reconfirmed with Mark also if it is allowed that we can share it on stream. What was the full conversation, right? Because I think that is also very important to see it. How was the convo? And you have also to keep in mind. I mean, that is the same for me sometimes. Mark is not a native English speaker, right? So it is not his first language. It is the same for me. My first language is German, so it is sometimes hard for us. And I think Mark is definitely a person who want to not be involved in drama and stuff like that. And he's a very, I have the highest respect for him because he's really a good person, never involved with any drama and anything. And I mean, we can probably show it here because we got the permissions from Mark to share it, and we will share the fully screenshot. I mean, that was at the beginning when it was reached out. We had that screenshot on the Yapcast on Sunday, kind of like where we don't know. I don't even know who made that screenshot or who shared it or where it came from, but no one really know that. But it was really, so Mark was asked if this screenshot is true. And then he kind of confirmed, yes, I saw this message going around. I would rather clarify directly to avoid any confusion. From the very beginning of this KVK, NTS has been clear about one thing: we want a balanced and exciting season with real fights, and that is what NTS is. 4 versus 2 setup would have been the opposite: boring, one-sided, and without action. That's why we immediately said we would not support such a scenario. And if anyone tried to push it, we would instead side with the team of the two. This was never about individual choices or personal wishes. It was about our alliance principles. After we made this position clear, the final 3 versus 3 format was decided. And I feel like this is really rare in the game, that we have alliances who don't have that issue. We don't ally with them and we don't ally with them. So if I feel like that is really, if everyone would be like NTS, we could maybe find more balanced KVK, but we know the reality is
By
different.
the way, I want to clarify,
Yeah.
Mark has a couple more messages coming because we actually will show fully what he said as he asked. So,
Yes.
yeah, Mark had a back and forth with Boss Nasty. Boss Nasty asked some very, very leading questions. Mark is very, very careful with his words because, again, English isn't his main language, so he tries to be careful about what he says for, screenshot purposes and whatnot because he's representing NTS. And, so he kind of went through and was careful. Boss Nasty started asking some really leading questions, he said. So he said he felt uncomfortable and ended the conversation. So we will fully share what
Yes.
Mark shared with Boss Nasty.
Because he told us he won't really, so he told Extra Dark again that he wants it fully shared, and that is what we're doing. So guys, if you come in late, make sure you go back. We have, the screenshots are 3 parts. I will show them all. So he said from the very beginning of this KVK, NTS has been clear that we already read it, would instead of the side team 2. This was never about individual. I think that we have as well. So the final 3 versus 3 format was decided. I think that was on that page, the last one, yes.
Yeah. It was the full statement. He had cut it off in the last one at the bottom.
Now we are satisfied with the result. We have a balanced KVK, strong allies, strong opponents, and a season full of fights ahead, exactly what NTS wants. So this is, I think, a really good answer, and that it just shows how NTS runs. They always stay nice. They really, and they want really good fights, good balanced matchups. So he stated that here very clearly. Then thanks for the clarity, Mark. Do you mind if I quote what you have written to me here? And then Mark said yes, if need, but in such case fully, not partly. And then the conversation continued. Okay, that is clear. So an offer was made or presented to NTS by Dark, and you declined or did not entertain the idea. And then Mark said, I can't name it as an offer. Then Boss Nasty said, okay, so it was mentioned, and along with other options, through it was an option, even if among others that it was presented, is what you are saying. Then Mark said, sorry, I was in a meeting, and he probably didn't respond on that day. Then the next day, Boss Nasty said, no worries, asked the same question again. I think that I have not to read anymore again. And then Mark said, it was just a part of discussion among other possibilities and wishes. And Boss Nasty said, okay, so this is kind of the conversation, what happened. And this is really something I think it is important. I do think that we have really to clarify, to go out with that stuff, how we take it. And it is totally okay if people get things different. And there is also different views on it, different perspectives. And some people will read it like this, some people will read it like this. And I think that is totally okay. But I think like you can maybe explain the best, Dark, because you talked to Mark after that also.
I mean, yeah, I had a full conversation with Mark, and I was like, hey, Boss Nasty's pushing that you're telling everyone that we tried to propose a 4v2. that never happened. What's going on? And Mark was just as confused as I was. And he's like, well, here's my statement to Boss Nasty. Like Mark said he's busy. He doesn't have time to watch Boss Nasty stream, whatever. He shared all the info. And I was like, well, like, is it okay if I share this info? And he's like, yeah, it's totally okay as long and you can share these screenshots. It was public to Boss Nasty anyway. And then I said, great. Then I later came back and said, hey, Princess is going to stream this. Is it okay if it's on her stream as well? He said, yes, it's totally okay as long as it is shown in full. So again, he's saying the same thing he told Boss Nasty, that he wants all of his words and all the context out there in full, because he's careful with his words and he doesn't want things taken out of context and misconstrued.
I think that is pretty much all. I mean, that KVK will bring up a lot of drama, and I feel like there's a lot of stuff going on around now. I think COD Discord bullshit was never.
Yeah,
been so
I mean, people keep crying Diplo win and whatnot. I think 25L's like members are as well, but NTS, like they stated, they think it's a balanced KVK. NTS believes in themselves. I believe in NTS. I think they're a good team too. And the way NTS sees it is it's a balanced KVK, and they're hoping to have fun this KVK. Like, I mean, when you go to polls on who's going to win the final zone from like Guns or from Boss Nasty, I don't remember the exact number on Guns, but it wasn't that far off. It was like 53, 40 something, right? 40, so 47. So, and like on Boss Nasty stream, I think they Echo at a 46% people saying they were going to win. So how are 46% of the people thinking that Echo is going to win a Diplo win? I think we need to see what the definition of a Diplo win is, because a Diplo win is you made Diplo in a way that you are going to win. And if the other side can win, I hate to say it, it's an advantage, not a Diplo win.
I mean, yeah, Diplo win is a word which goes around the most time. I don't know how many times we had that on the COD Discord. What is a Diplo win? I think a Diplo win is when you make an ally situation where it is clearly that the opponent cannot win that, no matter how hard they fight, no matter how many resources they spend, no matter how active they are. So it is just numbers wise, power wise, it is just not winnable. That is kind of a Diplo win. I do think we have a matchup in our favor numbers wise. Definitely. Yeah. I think when you look at that is definitely a matchup in our favor. And that we can still admit, but I think like that we offered and directly pushed for a 4 versus 2. That is just, from what Dark told me and what our Diplo team is telling us, it's just not the case, right? And that is something we just want to clarify from our side. And different sides can see that different, and they can show their perspective. That is also okay. People can at the end say, but I think like we have Dark and Mark have a really good and clear relationship, and so it was really nice that Mark gave us the permission, share it, and said he still sees it as a good KVK. He's looking forward to it, and that it is not like that he said that Dark offered him a 4 versus 2, because I mean, you can maybe say to that something again, Dark. I mean, I can ask you one time directly, did you offer a 4 versus 2, Diplo? Did you offer it?
No, never was offered. Yeah. Although I will state that Echo 100% deserved to get a 4v2 against them or a 5v1 against them based on the last Diplo that was made. So they got a lot better than they did deserve, because they got a KVK they actually have a chance to win rather than what we got.
Just kidding here in the house from NTS as well. I think he can tell the best. He's such a long time in NTS and in leadership and stuff, and he know that NTS is really people. They avoid drama. They don't want to be involved in anything. And I think Mark already stated it very well. What's the philosophy of NTS? Because they don't have drama with any alliance. They always looking out for the most balanced KVK. And I think he even said it kind of like, if there is one side only 2, then they will join this side just to make the KVK balanced. That is kind of really honorable, in my opinion. When you can make it as an alliance being out of all drama, that is really high class. And I think that makes it a little bit easier when you have some alliances like this also in the game. Then, because if everyone always have that beef with each other, we end up that we get the same KVKs over and over again.
Yeah, I think the big difference between EIS is whenever we're saying things and we're pushing things, like we have evidence or something to provide to prove that point and to say like here this is why we're saying that. When a lot of other people, they'll ramble, they'll make stuff up, they'll say, well, this is what was said, blah blah blah, and they're going to provide no evidence whatsoever towards that. I mean, like I said, like here's the full messages in full from Mark. Like he went over everything in detail. He said share the full entire message, and that's because no one wants their words taken out of context. So it's just sad to see that happening.
I mean, that is for me really the same thing. When English is not your main language, you can get taken so wrong because sometimes you say a word wrong or the context wrong or the grammar's wrong, and then it comes up in another sense or anything. That can really sometimes happen. So I do understand why Mark also said he has to think about how he answers, that it come over correct, that the meaning is the correct one, what he wanted to say. Brochin, thank you. I'm going to be a farmer for life. So we can definitely say there is and we can also maybe kind of say that there's no beef with NTS or anything, and that there was no disagreement. I think Doug and Mark has a normal conversation about the Diplo, right?
Yeah, I mean, we had plenty of conversations with the Diplo, and as you do in any Diplo, you go over all the possible matchups. Mark saying, "Okay, who hates who? What's the possible matchups we can do? Who's everyone willing to work with? Do you?" He asked me, "Do we have a agreement already to be allies with EIS, WB, and Rage?" I was like, "No, we don't. Like everyone's discussing now, but we did have a discussion how none of us want to work with Echo, so that's what will make things complicated." And I talked to him about how asking if they're willing to work with Echo and everything, and he said if it is for the good for balancing the KVK, we will work with anybody. And so Mark and I had a back and forth conversation. We went back and talked to WB and Rage, and we just balanced a couple idea matchups back and forth, trying to make something work. And in the end, it was easiest to come to this conclusion, and it was still relatively balanced. And so we go forward with it and play the KVK. The thing is with 25 IL, there's no true way to balance the KVK. Whoever gets them is automatically going to be the quote unquote underdog. And it's no fault of 25 IL. Their just numbers are way lower than everyone else. Like they have super high activity. There's nothing bad to say about 25 IL. But whoever gets them is going to be on the down foot, and obviously the number one team in the game should get them for balancing purposes.
Yeah, and I think it is also sometimes, I mean, that is just kind of like why I mean, I talked with Stark today, and we talked in the Alliance when that came up, and our members for sure said, why are we kind of into that, and that we are why is there kind of a propaganda about us, what is true, what is not true. And that's why Dark directly contacted Mark and was directly talking. I think that is always the best way. Talk directly the leaders. And I think, Doug, how long is your relationship with Mark? I think you know each other for a very long time.
Well, yeah, we know each other since the first time we played against each other the season before Global Migration and Home Kingdoms became a thing, when NTS and Row beat us that season. So
Oh,
that was
true.
NTS proved themselves as a very coordinated team even back then. And I mean, we were just winning the KVK. There was no doubt to it. We were beating Row. We were the better team. We were the most active team. We were the most coordinated. And then comes NTS from the other zone, and while they were playing coordinated, Row was not. But Row was the really high-powered team in the matchup. And then you could really tell the difference when NTS went, look, we're losing. All of Row needs to join our callouts because you guys aren't doing a good enough job. All of our Row's leadership, their players, had to form a joint Discord with NTS, and then NTS led the war comms, and the war changed quite a bit after that. The war that we should have backed up after they changed the way they played in hindsight, but I mean, they just switched the way they were playing, like a just the coordination was next level compared to what they were doing, and we were already outnumbered in the KVK. It was like us versus the few other teams, so they definitely showed their coordination, and you could, like, anyone who actually played that KVK could tell when NTS was leading and when they weren't. When NTS wasn't leading, it was so easy to play on the field, and then when they were, you had to play cautious and play smart.
I mean, I only know the season when we were allied with NTS, and I can absolutely confirm that is a very organized alliance. That this is organized. They make their plans, and they have really. I do not know what is the secret, but they have that. When you see NTS on the field, I think it is probably the most coordinated alliance in the game, or definitely one of the most coordinated alliances in the game. They have their little teams, I think, with Beta and Gamma and stuff like that, how they play. But you see, they have everyone in the voice chats. They are already there. They are fighting together and listening very well to call outs. And they also, I think, everything inside the alliance, how they go forward in the different zones, they have good plans for it, very structured. So I mean, they are now on the opposite side. They are our enemies on the field, but that doesn't mean that that we are still in a good relationship with NTS. And I think Dark and Mark still talk together. And it doesn't matter at the end who win or lose this KVK at the end. We will probably have a good time. And I feel like, how do you think is that drama level of that KVK, Dark?
Well, yeah, there's always going to be a drama when Echo and EIS are in the same KVK. There's no doubt about that. So, but it doesn't seem to be just EIS and Echo this time. It seems there's a lot of drama between Echo and other teams. So it seems there's going to be, a lot of issues going on this KVK. So we'll kind of have to take it and see how it's going. But I mean, if 47%, 56% of people on polls are saying that Echo wins the final zone, I don't know how you call that a Diplo win.
Oh my God, we got a guns raid. Welcome, guns crew. No, I still do not know how that raid goes, guns. You're crazy. Chase raid. Even funnier. Oh, thanks, guns. Oh, my God.
We're going to have to readdress the Mark screenshots now.
No, but do we want to... I'm at that point, I can only tell that from my side. We had a lot of drama, and okay, you have to clarify some things, and sometimes there is some juicy info out with our Yapcast topics, but I'm not a fan of going so long about the same thing, and that for every week the same. So we are looking forward in the Yapcast for new dramas, not the old ones. That was just something I think today. I mean, we can put it one more time. Do you want me to put up the screenshots again one more time, and then you can maybe...
Oh, I mean, to a stream, it's up to you. I mean, we already showed it earlier, but there's a lot of new people who probably didn't see, like the whole conversation between Mark and Steve DeFuchs coming up saying, "What's the tea?" Like, there's probably a lot of people who haven't seen the conversation between Mark and Boss Nasty. But I mean, even NTS is always pretty straightforward, so we like that. I mean, you can also leave you can also leave the air open for questions if people have to ask.
Absolutely. And I say thanks so much for the super chat. Okay, I'm trying to say that name. Renzo is saved. I think I got it. I hope it's nothing bad.
Yeah.
I hope sometimes I don't say something bad, because I really sometimes don't get sayings or something like that. Okay, Dafuk saying, what is the tea? We have maybe to show it one more time. And saying, I agree, let's move on to love letters. Yeah, exactly. It is really, so it is just for us, we want to clarify here. I'm not reading them all again. So this was a conversation. Dark had a talk with Mark about it and said, Mark, can we share the screenshots? Because I never offered you a 4 versus 2 in that way, and it is kind of like twisted and stuff like that. And then Mark said, here is the screenshots. Please make sure you show them fully. What we are doing here right now, it is 3 parts of the screenshot. And there it is clearly going, that is, Mark didn't say, okay, Dark offered us directly a 4 versus 2 and something like that. But what I can just say is, for me, is we had all that dramas. There was a lot of going on, and now I feel like it is time to fight that stuff out on the battlefield.
Yeah, I mean, we worked with, I talked with, so Echo didn't even want to come forward and do Diplo, right? Tempe publicly stated, we are not doing Diplo, let us know the matchup. And so we talked with Mark, was basically representing their whole entire side the whole time. Like we were talking with Mark back and forth, like what are the good matchups. I'm talking to Duz, I'm talking to Elga, and we're all communicating on what we think the matchup's going to be, who's willing to work with who, and how that's going to go. And NTS was fine with the matchup, and they're saying it's a balanced KVK. They're not crying Diplo win. Like we had a full conversation with NTS on the KVK, and they just want to come out and fight. Like NTS just wants to say like the NTS isn't all about the politics. They're just like, yo, we're gonna come up, we're gonna fight and duke it out, and the KVK will proceed as it goes.
So, okay, let me read up the chat a little bit, Dark. Okay, Renzo, good night. Have a good sleep. Gun saying drama keeping the game alive right now. Probably yes, but at the end of the day, we have all to focus on a KVK also. And then we have to move on. Much mana will be spent on proof a point win-win for the. Absolutely, I think that will be probably a new amount of mana spent in that upcoming KVK. But let's look here a little bit. Iggy is saying it literally says EIS 4 versus 2 Echo was one of the options. And that is the part I think he's mentioning too. It was just a part of discussion among other possibilities and wishes. So I mean,
Yeah. So what? A 5v1 was the option, and so was a free for all. Like he said, what are all the possible options? I said, well, here these teams won't work with Echo, so here's the 3v3s. Here's the 4. We could do a 4v2, do a 5v1. But I can tell you right now, EIS and them, no one's working with Echo. So if we want to work out a 3v3, here's the 3v3 matchup. So then we proceeded to talk from there.
I mean, Doug said it earlier that it was not. I think at one point you said that you came here.
Yeah, and I'll state again. Echo 100% deserves to be Diplo-ed against. If we did 4v2 or 5v1, I wouldn't feel bad for them in the slightest. Like, they got way better than they deserved. They should have been 4v2 or 5v1. But luckily, we wanted our members to have a more fun KVK, so we looked for something else.
I mean, and as I said earlier as well, I think it is definitely when you look at the numbers and stuff like that, the KVK I think is in favor of the EISWB Rage side, and that we can definitely admit. On the other hand, yeah, Echo top 1 team in the game, absolutely outstanding top 1 team. So it can be interesting. I do not think it is a KVK, which the final zone is decided in a few hours, hopefully. No, but I mean, Jake here saying 2 versus 2 versus 2 would work because of would work because
I think he means wouldn't work.
Okay, I don't want to say that word. Is that a bad word, Dark? What he said? I can't.
What, backdoor deals?
Yes,
No, it means
okay.
like it means you're like DMing people behind the back to say like, hey, it's a 2v2v2, but we're gonna go fight Echo, like you guys win the KVK, like things like that, right?
And I think Jake mean he did correct it, but wouldn't, because I'm the same. FFA kind of never works. He's right in 2 versus 2 versus 2, and that a 3 versus 3 is the best option. It would.
I mean, it's all like nice to like propose a 2v2, 2v2, and be like, oh yeah, like these teams hate each other, so it'll all work out. But it's not really that way. Like the whatever team hates the other team, they're gonna go make sure that team doesn't win no matter what. So even if they're losing on the back foot, or it's gonna change. It's not gonna be a 2v2v2 ever. In no situation, even if like the top team starts winning, and let's say logic is only involved and not emotion. If the top team in the 2v2 starts winning and beating the other two, those other two are then both going to attack the one winning. So it's never really a true 2v2v2. Princess, I think you're muted.
Oh yes, I'm muted. You're so right. I said I was trying to finding that screenshot real quick where we have a little bit the numbers of the 2 teams. What I have, it's maybe not 100% accurate. Don't take me, but here you see it is definitely power wise in advantage, I think, of the EIS side. Also the average power number, because we have here 25 IW with only with a much lower average on that side. But I think like this KVK can have a very, very good final zone. I think that is something which is really, people say that the mana spend will be crazy. I can only say from our side, everyone here is stocking up the mana, being ready. But let me read a little bit back in chat. Drama is laugh, drama is life. 2-Bit says this will be a fun season. Colleague saying discussion, the action or process of talking about something in order to reach a decision or to exchange ideas. I have no idea what colleague is meaning. What is colleague talking about? Oh,
Yeah, he's talking about the guy who was like, a 2v4 was proposed, so that means you wanted one.
oh, he's talking to Iggy probably. Offer, present, or prove or something, or someone to accept, or oh my God, I'm not reading his dictionary here, but
Yeah,
people
don't
can
worry
read it.
about his
Yeah.
comment.
I agree that the best team in the game are matched with the weakest of the KVK, is Papa Lama saying. Then we have, why did you say Echo deserves to be a 5 versus Mon, Dark? That you can maybe answer to Kalen?
Yeah, so I mean, it's very clear they deserve, like from our standpoint, from EIS and Rage doing it, the Echo 100% deserves to be 5v1 because that's the kind of matchup they gave us last time, taking the number 1 and 2 power kingdoms by far in the KVK on the same side. Especially poor SSG was stuck between both of them. SSG literally couldn't leave their zone 1 without being pinched, like between both 30 bill power teams, and SSG's only 22 bill power. Like the matchup was just so disgusting. We had to sit there and farm the whole KVK. They went to the final zone and didn't even fight each other and started Elega trading in the final zone for the whole entire season. So they ruined a whole season there. I mean, the second they realized that the Nor KVK they were going to lose, they declared free for all, then asked BXS, hey, delete towers, hey, work with us, guard this side from GGG, message NTS, hey, you should help us fight Nor in the final zone. So it was never truly a free for all, but they pushed it for propaganda's sake, for recruitment, and like they you can keep going about all the things they did. They did 2v4s instead of the 3v3 and ruined that KVK. I mean, they just keep doing all these different things over and over again, just ruining KVK after KVK, and so I mean it's kind of deserved at this point.
Okay, let me read here a little bit the chat. Back, Echo trying not to lose, is ChatGPT saying. Okay, murder gives warnings here out when people type wrong in chats. That is good. My mod's taking an eye on that. Then Echo Diplo win numerous of times, ChatGPT saying, ESET saying your final zone is going to be wild, and I agree. I think the final zone that will be epic. I feel like everyone here is super ready, and from kind of how the match is, if not anything happens during that KVK alliance disband, migrating out, or whatever, you never know what's happening. But if we say the alliances, how they are, go into the final zone, 3 versus 3, this is really going to be wild, because people are really hyped for the Dragon Zone.
True, the Dragon Zone is going to be insane. Like it's going to be, I mean, it might be the best Dragon Zone the game's ever seen. I mean, if you go back, like most KVKs end before Dragon Zones in the Nor TFS EIS BXS season, that was probably the like largest war I've ever seen in the game, and that didn't make it to final zone. The largest war was in zone 3, so I think it's safe to say that this might be the largest Dragon Zone you'll ever see.
I mean, we said
Well,
that
ever
already.
seen to this point.
It will be 1.2k people are going into 1,200 people are going in that Dragon Zone. We have all the big spenders with all the animated march sizes and stuff like that, and everyone has that fancy city themes. I'm super interested how that lag will be. Tangerine has here also a point. Yeah, but Diplo could have been a little bit different so that every kingdom can fight, not wait for final zone. Do you want to say something about that, Doc?
I mean, sure, but then like let's say every kingdom gets to fight in zone 2, and then there is no balanced final zone. So I mean, you can measure it however you want. So then you got to sit there and weigh: is it better to have a crazy final zone or crazy zone 2s, and then have a lackluster zone final zone? Like, I mean, you can go into any of that for all of that. But again, I'm also stating that multiple teams did not want to work with Echo, so this is going to be the matchup that's going to come from that. We could have just as easily swapped out NTS for somebody else. It could have been like, NTS WB EIS. It could have been EIS Rage NTS, and NTS was fine with all of those. So like it could have worked out that way, but there's plenty of teams that also don't want to work with Echo. And I mean, NTS and Rage are the same exact power. If you swap them, the matchup's virtually almost the same. Like you can say like it's a little different resource healing wise, it's a little different high power player wise. But NTS is no joke of a team. They show up that they play better than they look. They have crazy activity, they have good coordination. So I mean, you can flip Rage or NTS and the balance on the sheet doesn't change that much.
I mean, as I said that earlier too, I think when you would have switched Rage and NTS, you would have probably more Zone 2 fighting, and you would have probably
That there would be more Zone 2 fighting,
number-wise
yes.
a little bit. But I feel like NTS is really people. I mean, we have worked with them. We know how coordinated and how good NTS is. And I mean, you saw even Mark said that he's super happy with the KVK. He feel like it is a good situation. And I'm reading here back a little bit with all the Diplo wins. Echo they are lucky it's not at least a 2 versus 4, is the Rage Beta saying. I mean, how many Diplo wins did Echo really do? I mean, we have also to be honest in that. I mean, the only...
Well, what I will say is the one I like to say they Diplo won, which was like the one where they took RAC and GG, technically wasn't a Diplo win. It's team up phase, which is just extremely balanced. Like what they did do was stack an extremely overpowered, like, you know, team up phase. But I mean, they didn't get in the KVK and make the Diplo that time, but it was extremely unbalanced in that time as well, because just of how stacked they made their team. They would have beaten any team by far. But you can't call that a quote unquote Diplo win because they don't know who they're matching, etc. I mean, they did kind of confirm with the team they made they would beat whoever they played, which is why I call it a Diplo win. But by technicality, it's not a Diplo win, that KVK. But I mean, the BTX Echo KVK, there's no argument for that. That's a Diplo win.
Yeah, but that's the only, but because when you go just back from the history, from what I remember, Echo had that after their first season. I don't know how their first season was against BDO and AC was there, and I don't remember that one fully. But after that, they had that FFA, I think that was against Noir. Then they had one time they went together with BDO in that 2 versus 4 where they went in the underdog position. It was the KVK they also, I think, lost. The other 2 ones were team-up phases. And the only one I see what you can maybe call a Diplo win was that one when they just allied with a BTX, when top 1 and top 2 team allies in a KVK. And I mean, everyone was saying RAC was so powerful on paper, but RAC kind of stated it in the Diplo chat that they don't have the power. They said we have a lot of inactive people. So this is the only thing, but I feel like in this KVK, I think it is a challenge for Echo as well. I mean, it is not like that is a super easy win, and I think Echo is super ready. We can show the Brink of War points later a little bit. I think Echo already did a lot. So let me read here up. Bakhoch is saying, if we believe BN, then Dark told him that he never offered anything like a 4 versus 2. Now he's saying he even offered 5 versus 1. How does that make sense, Dark? Do you want to answer on that?
I think your issue is believing BN. Like I said, like BN's quoting Mark's words. Just go read Mark's words for yourself.
I think he was referring to when you said that when we had that screenshots with the part with, it was just part of discussion among other possibilities and wishes. When you said, when you go in a Diplo decision talking, there is basically everything a possibility. I think you stated that earlier.
Yeah. Every time a leader goes into a Diplo conversation, they list the matchups that can happen. They go through and say, here's the situation, here's who hates who, here's what would happen, and then you consider all the options and you go through what's plausible, and then you pick one.
And saying, I don't care about fake balanced matchups. I want to
like a free for all was also listed, and a 2v2v2. I mean, free for all could have been mentioned. A 2v2v2 could have been mentioned, but guess what? At the end of the day, no one's doing either of those either, because as everyone mentioned, none of those work. So, I mean, like at the end of the day, it matters the matchup you make up.
Yeah, he was saying didn't offer, but any option was considered. But I mean, it's like, you know, kind of the screenshot versus in the earlier stuff was saying that Dark was kind of pushing for a 4 versus 2. So Dark were coming, okay, and made directly the offer. And what the conversation between Dark and Mark was is, okay, we are in the same KVK. How we gonna go with Diplo, right? And then they had their talks together, and I think it is not the point where we have to bring out here every possible DMs and stuff like that. It is very nice of Mark that he, oh my God, Mark Dark. It is very nice of Mark that he let us share this here to clarify that. And I mean, he was saying that to you as well, that he was not claiming that you did directly do that.
Yeah, I mean, like he told Boss Nasty, if you share this, please share all of it. So, I mean, that's just kind of like that. Like, he said, please share all of it, and that's not what happened. Boss Nasty just started quoting what Mark said, generalizing what Mark said, telling people like, hey, Mark kind of told me like that's not what happened, but he didn't show anything of what Mark said. And so I kind of said, hey, well, since you're okay with sharing this, can we clarify and fully share what you said? And he said yes. So.
Let me read up here. We have a lot of comments. ESET saying it's going to be so laggy. I agree. It will be super laggy. And then Machine saying WAOKVK is going to be a fun one to watch as well. I do agree. Second KVK. Ray saying take this EISL #1. That means we are losing, right? Or what does he mean with that?
Yeah, that means that take EISL means EIS will lose. But
Benny's,
like I said, like I mean, if people hate the matchup so much, which they clearly don't by the polls that are being taken, and you see like 53 to 46%. I mean, that's a pretty balanced like poll number for who people think are going to win. But you can go through and I mean, we can read Diplo if people want. If all teams involved want to read Diplo, that is like we're not gonna just change up on our allies if everyone's not okay with it. But if people want to read Diplo, then they can make offers and try to change things. The KVK hasn't even begun yet, so we can definitely look into that if people want. But like I said, at the end of the day, I mean, people are already voting that Echo is a slight underdog and still has a chance to win. So I mean, that's not really a Diplo win.
Oh, I'm muted again. Let me read a little bit more. I mean, here's a lot of people saying, yeah, I think this will be the most watched KVK, I believe. Then we have that. I mean, there's a lot of, we are going to break the game in final zone. Then Seraph saying Echo NTS and sum up. Dark, just flex your e-girl squad on Echo. You're talking about his virtual harem he always claims he has. Let me check here everything. Yeah, Machine saying we have the eagle. I mean, EIS is probably the alliance with the most girls. We have definitely to say that. Dark Issues is Echo has.
I would say I would clarify top alliance. I don't know about all the smaller ones.
Issue and Echo has upset some peeps with their BTX Diplo win. They also #1 at the moment, and peeps want to see them burn. I mean, I don't think anyone, okay, probably there are people out who want to see them burn. I do feel no one, I can only say personally for me, no one wants to see them burn. It's just like giving them a challenge is kind of cool and have a cool fight.
I want to see him burn.
Yeah. Borg is in the house. Welcome. Murder saying the context of that was Mark asked Dark what were the options for the KVK, so which he said technically FFA 5 versus 1, 5, 4 versus 2, 3 versus 3. The first 3 being sarcasm or a joking manner. And I think Murder said that very well. I mean, it's kind of like when you go in a talk, everything is possible. Then we have here Mark saying hype for the match, hope as much fighting as there has been talking. I do agree. He's from Echo. I think he also, when I remember correct, did already a good push in Brink of War. Who is against who at the end of the day? I mean, here it's clearly these are the allies. If nothing changes, you never know. If nothing changed, this is the 3 versus 3 we have, and nothing changed on that because I got DMs today. I know people texted me, Princess, did your Diplo change? No, the Diplo did not change. It is still that situation that we have that 3 versus 3.
It might change though. Who knows? The KVK hasn't begun yet.
Do you think, Merc? I don't know because I heard Doug mentioned about maybe having WB dodge. Doug?
Like I said, that Diplo can still change before the KVK begins. We'll see how it goes.
Borg is asking who is against who at the end of I think I answered that, sorry. EIS is dead, but we are not short. Oh, Brochin, I don't bait me in. I told you guys, we have to move on from that. I'm not supporting that. Do over and over again the same. Godlike WB is their own alliance who make their own decisions. Absolutely. BTX has more girls. In the meantime, they do. Are we sure we have to I have to count that together. I have to contact Kay later and we have to figure out who has more girls, if BTX or EIS. Rage didn't want to ally with Echo, question mark, is Kaylin asking? Doc?
I mean, I'll let teams speak on their own behalf. All I can say is that there were many teams in this KVK that did not want to work with Echo at all, and it was off the table.
Just kidding, saying, he said, I'm not interested in that at all. He just don't want to lose Zone 2 against Rage. That is just kidding saying. So he's from NTS. Why does Rage dislike Echo? Did anyone say that Rage dislikes Echo?
I think you'd have to ask Rage that question.
I skipped my car to buy food. Oh my God, guys, I will not. No, Doug, I know. I feel like it is a little bit on overtime, and we have to move on because
I mean, it's
like,
not.
no.
It's proven. Like there's
no,
no.
But it is the point where it get. I don't know if maybe it's just me. It is definitely not here going on like that on my stream. You can do that anywhere you want, but not in my stream. So I have to read always the text first, guys. So Rage is BDO. Are the old BDO and never again Echo will be allied with okay. Rage is BDO. Are the old BDO and never again Echo will be allied with BDO? But didn't BDO and Echo ally in the past when they had that 2 versus 4? That was a rough dragon fight as well, by the way, and a very expansive final zone.
They did.
I do not know if that is a bait, what Benny is asking. Can you read that, Dark? All right, guys, time for the real question. That is probably a kind of joke. I do not understand it, if it's a joke.
He's asking who likes cereal the most, because Guns on the other day on a stream was talking about cereal the whole entire time.
So Guns brought it. Okay, so we talk, okay, it's not a saying anything, it's not a double meaning. So sorry guys, when you're in EIS, you really learn fast that you have to be careful what you say. It will be all the possible double meanings, but these aren't. Dark just confirmed me earlier that they understand me well. They just sometimes go into the double meaning to make jokes out of me. I will keep that in mind. My God, now we're back to the e-girls covering the most important questions. Echo WB 25 versus EIS NTS Rage will be pretty balanced as well. Can you try it on the dashboard? For that, I would have to open King Yummies again. Problem is I have a little bit connection issues here. And if I put that out, I'm so afraid it is already not loading properly my stuff. It's even not loading properly Discord beside.
I mean, I said the 3 matchups EIS is okay with is EIS NTS Rage, EIS Rage WB, and EIS WB NTS.
Okay, so
any of those 3, I'm fine with.
Sounds like I need to take what is PTO. Isn't that thing in America when you have a day off or something like that? Doc?
What? You asking about PTO?
Yeah,
PTO is paid time off.
Paid time off. So is that a vacation day then, or what is that?
Yeah, it's paid time off. So it's like vacation. Like you call it off and you get paid for it.
But this is limited days you have per year, right?
Yeah, like you have so many paid vacation days, and then you have unpaid vacation days, and whatnot.
Gun saying the whole entire game is wild. Prime BDO players should join Rage and rename Rage to BDO. I do not. But BDO and SSG merged, and then they got a new name and named it SSG. Guns is the serial killer. I need to join Guns next stream to get the
The
serial
serial
story.
killer. Oh,
I need
man.
a serial story.
Guns does like his cereal.
What does that mean? Tell me the story, dog. What is the story about the
You
cereal?
have to know the context, princess. It's not my fault you don't watch gun streams.
It's not my fault. I was busy the whole day working.
Yeah. Well, I just randomly tuned in yesterday and I was watching the fight, and then he just randomly starts talking about cereal, and then everyone starts naming their favorite cereal and whatnot.
Okay. I have to check that with Guns. 30 billion plus alliance wants 4 versus 2. Dog, you good? Ha ha ha. Yohai asking. Do you want to answer?
I've answered this like 7 times. Go back, watch the beginning of the video. It's not even true.
Mystic saying, let's be clear, this will be the beginning of the end for Echo. They will disband like Noir sooner or later. So I will say one thing. I can ask you a question. Do you think, Doc, it will happen the same to Echo like it did to Noir? What is your
Not the
opinion?
same, because Noir happened in like a season. I mean, for Echo, like, even if they lost as KVK, they still have Row League, and no one in Row League is going to want to leave and lose their spot unless some absolutely crazy drama goes down or their team doesn't look as good and they're going to lose anyway, which neither of those things will probably happen. So, I mean, at least as far as the Row League guys go, those guys will stay there until that Row League ends.
Because my personal opinion is, I think Echo is built up different than Noir, and I don't like when they compare each other. Because in Noir, I think the most issue Noir had is Noir was kind of power-wise like Echo, top 1 team in the game, very high amount of spenders. Everyone had super good hero max, artifact max. They were really a really strong alliance. Plus, I think also, people can say what they want. Satoru was a good coordinated leader. I think war callouts and stuff like that. It looked, at least when from my experience, it looked good to me how they played on the battlefield. And the problem
was Satoru good at callouts? I was told someone else did the war leading there.
Or then the war lead of Noir. But I felt like they played very coordinated tanks wise. They didn't throw in all their tanks at the same time at the beginning, and they did that already very early in the game. So I feel like they had a good coordination, plus very strong. I think what killed Noir at the end was that Noir didn't choose any challenging matchup. So their whole Krakens and Veils got bored, and I think that was what was killing it at the end. Some machine says Gun says Margaret a baddie, and he thinks Sybil is cute, and he's into Skogul. Some crazy.
Hey yo.
Oh my god! Later, chat.
I must have missed that part.
Bye,
of the video.
Guns. Nice to having you, and thanks for the raid. Okay. My mod is here banning, so I hope. Oh. Did he really ban it? Because Yohai was asking again, Dark, why 4 versus 2?
Yeah, I think he got it for spamming, I think.
Yeah, for spamming, probably. So let me read if there is anything. SP, I believe, was the war lead racing. Oh, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, SP is a super smart person. That the moments I talk with SP, I mean, he's still playing the game with Strange and so, I think, on a smaller server. But he's a really smart guy, so that can also make sense. Diamond Pride says 3 versus 3, and this kind of, I don't know how you call that. Dechen Gaming does also, oh my god, we're going back to that. I'm not going back in that, neither of all of that stuff. Noir died because R5 fell for, yeah, I mean, that I know that story as well. I think that was also a story which was, in my opinion, talked about too long. Sometimes we need to just get over stuff, focus back on the battlefield. But I feel
Princess,
like, yeah.
I love how innocent you are. We're playing a totally different game.
Who says that?
I did.
You do. I'm playing a
But
total
yeah,
different game.
we're playing a totally different game. You said we need to move on and not talk about the past. Like that's never gonna stop happening.
I know, but I don't get the point in it. I mean, yes, there's a drama. Okay, then everyone can make their opinions about it. You can sometimes laugh, you can cry, you can whatever about all the dramas, and then you move on. And then you just fight on the battlefield. That is my opinion. That's why, yeah, and then you have the name changes and here and there and all that talks in VC, but then you have to move on. That is my opinion. I do not play a total different game. I play the same game. I just play it probably a little bit different style. Sponge, yo, 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 welcome here. Can we talk about, Silver Spot saying, can we talk about how Echo has no achievements, no hard KVKs that they have won? Popcorn.
Yeah, they have no hard KVKs they've won. I think that's true. They did have a balanced KVK they won that was relatively balanced for the 2v2. It was like, but it was their very first one. It was and NA really pulled their weight in that KVK. It was like Echo and NA versus BDO and AC, and NA pulled a lot more weight than AC did, right? So I mean, they won that one. That was kind of balanced, but they've never really won a KVK that I would consider hard. Like they went free for all again. The first hard matchup they were presented with in Nor, they decided they were going free for all.
Yeah, but that was the KVK. I mean that wasn't winnable. So they were just. I mean that was I think that moment when Noir decided already did a Diplo win, right? Noir did that Diplo win agreement.
That was very winnable. NTS is a crazy team. I mean, in the end, Echo and NTS together were beating Nor at one point until they like turned around and wouldn't work together anymore. But that's because like those two together were giving Nor and GG like a bad time. And if BXS was involved, they could have won that KVK fully. They didn't go for it because they thought they could not do it.
In review, if they would have teamed up together from the beginning and kind of built up this way, yeah, they would have. I think because Noir had that big struggles. That Noir was a very bad activity, that KVK. I remember that. They were that full stack team, but the Krakens didn't show up. I think also Satoru was very frustrated about the activity there.
But Noir just got sick of no fighting, and they told all our members, like they even had their members reaching out to Satoru and saying, look, like, we're going to be bored. Like, let us fight GG. Let's go free for all too. And Satoru was like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. Like, we're going to sit here and farm and wait till final zone. And I think he lost a lot of members when he did that, where it was just like, because he had a lot of people pleading to him, like, let's fight. And he has some of the top spenders in the game dropping crazy amounts of money on the game. And they just wanted to use it, and they all got bored,
Yeah, absolutely. Let me show real quick the Brink of War results because people asking for that. So, do we have still a screenshot? I think I don't. I have one, but on the iPad, not on the PC. So yesterday about trolls. So EIS was winning the trolls, but Train Day were coming, and we see already. This is the current score we have here in the KVK of Brink of War, and we have 1 day Train Day now. So we have Echo here at 954 million. We have EIS at 600.
Second, wow.
Yeah, we're second, 687. Then we have WB 609. Then we have NTS with 477. Then we have 25IW with 464 million. And then we have Rage right now with 439. But you have to see the train buffs, alliances and server do different. So we have to see how that Brink of War here goes. Let me read up a little bit. Best matchmaking is when everyone can fight for longer than 2 days per zone, and winner of KVK is not always who have Dragon, but Alliance who had most fun anyway. Thanks EIS for last KVK. It was fun. We played together last KVK. Which alliance are you in? Last KVK was not a bad one, but there you could see it wasn't terrible. We had really some good fights, but it was it was a team up, so it was also not you couldn't do much about it. You build your team and then you get match up. But there we had it the opposite side, like we had it last time when we had a team up, that we were kind of like the stronger team, and then it got at one point a little bit boring.
Yeah, because the Sheesh Alliance had YY quit, and a lot of their players lost activity. Some migrated out. They didn't even enter final zone, so that became a whole thing. But I mean, NA was fighting with us a good amount of the KVK.
Humble saying no, that KVK was winnable. Look with Echo, it goes one of two ways. Either they cry Diplo win or they cry no fights after they Diplo win.
That is true, Humble. That is basically what they're either saying, one of those two things every single KVK. So I mean, you can't have both.
So DChain Gaming says in that KVK, BXS was locked in zone 1 by GG, but I think that was also the reason because Echo, NTS, and BXS didn't work together, right? I do not fully remember that KVK. I can really not 100% tell you, but I think it wasn't even that NTS and Echo also fighted each other on that KVK, so it was kind of, you know, if they would have kind of built it the other way, it would have probably worked. Prochin saying Humble speaking facts and making sense. That's dangerous. Because Humble did a lot of trolling. Humble is really high in trolling in the meantime. And
in this season, yeah, he came out. He was just in Discord laughing all day, and I was like, "What'd you post now?"
Yeah, he always sends us what he is posting in COD chat and World Chat, and even in World Chat, Humble is active. I was like, Humble, what happened to you?
Any talks with 25 before Diplo was done? No. Honestly, I didn't talk to 25. So, I mean, again, nothing against them. Just, you know, obviously they were going to get paired with Echo. So I had no talks with 25 whatsoever.
Oh yeah, just kidding. Just kidding from MTS saying Echo went solo. I mean, I do remember that when Sot said we go FFA. And then NTS flipped coins who to push. Okay, so it was like sometimes pushing Echo, sometimes pushing. I mean, I remember some super cool fights there. BTX gave up against Echo. No point in feeding him merits, is N saying. I do not get this sentence. Peeps can complain about Diblevin if you all feeding peeps who do it. I need a little bit more context to understand.
Listen to you be confused is funny. You were thinking that one over.
You can explain. Sometimes it's for me, you know, the way it's saying that I try to get
I can't explain it either. I don't totally understand what he's saying.
Perfect. And when always a main English speaking person says that, then I feel okay. And Jay Boa saying they cried about wanting match BTX and then cried that BTX matchmaking was trash. I mean, we all saw. I mean, Echo and BTX, didn't they ask? Didn't they ask for that?
Then they asked for each other. Then they were crying that they were fighting BTX and got no fights. They were like, "Oh, this KVK is boring." They were literally DMing like support. They were messaging support saying, "Give us this matchup. We want BTX," and they got it. Like, and then they complained about that too. I mean, you just can't make these people happy, in my opinion.
We should have messaged customer support that Echo and EIS gets a zone 2. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
I'm still very sad.
What they need to do is let us pick our zone 1s. And if they let us pick zone 1s, Diplo can be done in such a way, whereas after the matchups are decided, everyone can get a zone 2 fight, zone 3, etc. You can set up the zones as you want if everyone agrees to it.
And zone 1 fights again. After the 3 days, you know, when you how long is that at the beginning when you can't attack each other? 2 days? 3 days? How is it called? Warfare? That, you know, at the beginning when you can't attack each other, even if you would like to, the first 2 or 3 days in a KVK, it's that. How it was in the early game. You started the KVK and in zone 1, I think it was 2 days you couldn't attack each other. It was just not possible. And then that went down, and then the big zone 1 fight started. The good old times. Let me read back. You should have talked to 25 to make it a 2 versus 4. What is
Did this guy make an alt account just to spam all caps again? Berta took care of it. Or Vanya did, it looks like.
Cheesefire, it's called. Cheesefire, it's called. Why do they not? It is at the beginning on the KVK when you can't attack each other. So you basically
ceasefire.
Yeah, that is a ceasefire. Oh, yeah, you said it correct.
You got it. Yeah, ceasefire.
Okay, thanks, Venue, for the banning. Guys, when you Dark answered the question already 5 times. The question if he offered a 4 versus 2. Just go a little bit back in the stream and you can see it. Humble saying 1st and 6th seed have to be together. I agree in a 6 camp format. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously.
And I mean, that was a little bit a problem when the last KVK was with Echo BTX. And I think that is where SSG and EIS still a little bit know the experience of a very boring KVK. Veneno, welcome. I'm saying that people play into bad Diplo and then complain about it. Don't do it. Step it, get help. Okay. Exactly my point about feeding into Diplo wins. BTX Alliance S, MFD carried Echo.
I don't know that MFD carried Echo, but both Echo's teams won. But that happens a lot in the team up phase. Team up phase is not a good game mode. Everything, like, you can go into the team up phase and pick the winning team like 90% or plus of the time. Like, you can tell who's going to win the KVK, and it's unfortunate that that's the case.
Oh my god, people are already making fun of me because I said cheese fire. This is what I mean. How do I say it correct, the word? Can you say it again, Dark? Then.
Cheese. You said cheese fire. Yeah, it's ceasefire.
Ceasefire, guys. We working on
No
that.
No H.
Oh my god, when someone is watching that back. Humble said no spamming here. Haha. Yeah, venue is fully. Oh my god, do they make it? Oh, Dark
They
is
made
even,
a fourth. They made a fourth one. Yeah.
they made a fourth account. People putting really some effort in here, but I have just the best mods.
Like, I loved, like, at first he typed in all caps when we answered his question, and then he kept asking the same question over and over and over in all caps.
Okay, let's see how many accounts he's able to make. Melee saying, I heard Dark suggested a 6 versus 0.
Yeah, well, you know, it needs to be done.
He said saying cheese fries. Oh my god, I will hear that forever now with the cheese fire, but it is okay.
We're gonna give him a cheese fire, guys.
God, I feel like that word is for me so hard when you're still busy. I'm deleting that question. I see the whole time. Oh, he all called again. Dark, don't avoid.
Well, he's not deleting the question. He's deleting the guy making like 17 ults.
Yeah. Yeah, let him. Maybe he have them already. Honestly, Echo should be blacklisted for the. I have no. I don't try to say that word because I don't even. I first don't know what.
Shenanigans.
What is that? Was something bad?
It means like being up to no good, being schemy.
That isn't helpful either. I don't know that vocabulary you use.
Well, you don't know being up to no good, like not
No.
like, okay, then I can't help you.
Please make more accounts and let's have some fun together. When you say.
Are you okay?
You need to make a shirt with cheese fire logo. I think we need to work on a cheese fire emote for my Discord, guys. If you want to join my Discord, guys. My Discord is pinned on the chat. If you want to join, you're very welcome. If you able to not insult each other and stay normal, you're very welcome there. We don't need that guy with 10 accounts there, please. Because it will happen the same. In this KVK, the most balanced KVK you ever had, or was some memorable KVKs you liked the most, Benny? Benny asking us.
That's a good question. I think what's the most balanced KVK I ever had? I mean, I think the TFS EXG versus EIS BXS was extremely balanced. That was a very, very tough KVK. I mean, obviously our planning gave us a huge advantage when we got the choke, but as far as like activity on the field and people fighting and T5s, like that was very balanced KVK, and there was a lot of fighting everywhere. And I think the other most balanced KVK we played was the NTS, EIS, A2G, SSG, WB, TFS KVK. Like, all the fights were good. Like, any side could have won that KVK. I mean, our side had every opportunity to win the KVK, and we didn't. The enemy side won the KVK, so I would consider that pretty balanced.
So when I look back, I mean, I joined after Global Migration, and when I have to say, and I look back, I think I never had a balanced KVK in with EIS. My first KVK was the NAP season with Noir and TFS. Yeah. Even if I think we did that it was not in our favor, we did a really good job there, and we were very close that it could have been looked different if we would have BXS over that pass, and then unfortunately we didn't get that settled. And the second one was against BDO, right? Where then ROE, that alliance, completely disbanded and don't even show up anymore. So
Yeah,
they
they
were
just dropped off the face of the earth. They just
so
didn't
they got
exist.
zone one locked from NA, and then it was kind of 3 versus 2. Even if I think 50% of the KVK was super fun against NF57, and there was still. Do you remember when we had a tower defense and NF57 Bossy was there and
Yeah.
BDO was coming in to help, and we had to break that defense. I mean, that was a cool, challenging fight as well. But overall, we have to say, I mean, from the enemy, one ally was zone one locked, so it was kind of clear after half of the KVK how that will end. What was the KVK after? Was it a team up when Kong and Pay to Win was our allies? Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And that one, we had the issue when Kong lost the players, Pay to Win had their internal struggles. So this was just kind of like, it was a team up phase, but it was ending up not in our favor, kind of like this what now happened on the opposite side with OO when YY quit and they got a struggle during it. So but we had good fun there as well, because I feel like the fights against Chi and RAC and that zone 3 was really cool. Till
Even
a very
fights
long
in
time.
zone 2 against Echo, we
Yeah.
were fighting them for 7 days in zone
Yes.
2.
Was super cool. And then after this one was which KVK was after this?
The NTS, EIS, WB, A2G.
Honestly, that was probably the closest balanced one I've played.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said
Yes.
that one, and then the EIS, BXS versus like before global migration versus TFS, EXG was the other most balanced KVK, I would say.
That was EIS, A2G, and NTS versus TFS, SSG, and WB. And that was a cool zone 2 fight. That was a cool final zone. I mean, definitely map advantage was still there at that point, but we still had a very good and long Dragon Zone fight. That was still really a cool one. Then it was the Echo and BTX when they did that Diplo, and then the last one was okay, but it was too much in our favor. So I think the most balanced one was really the one with SSG, TFS, WB versus EIS, NTS, A2G. I think the most hilarious and enjoyable KVK for me was FS versus Pay to Win. You mean when FS had that thing that they owned the dragon and the towers got deleted and Pay to Win took it over? I was watching that on Guns stream. Guns, back in the days when Guns was streaming on, I think he was still streaming on Twitch at that time. And I was watching that because it looked like that FS won that Dragon Zone and Pay to Win then. Or was it when the allies changed? No, I think that was that. I don't remember correctly.
For what?
That was that, when there was one time Pay to Win. I just remember it from a Gun stream. I have to ask Guns correctly because that was before I was playing in EIS. So Pay to Win, so they had the allies in the Dragon Zone, and then one of the enemy allies from Pay to. So Pay to Win was not at the Dragon. The enemy was at the Dragon.
Yeah.
But then one of the allies who owned the dragon flipped side to Pay to Win, and then Pay to Win took the dragon win. That was kind of, and you see.
And then another time, like FS like had all their towers deleted and Pay to Win pushed through the dragon.
So EZ is asking, Dark, what are the Zone 2 matchups for your KVK?
That's a good question. I don't even know the Zone 2 matchups for now. I guess that's still part of Diplo going on, so I don't know. We might have to read Diplo and do some things. It just all kind of depends, like how it's gonna work out. So people get Zone 2 fights.
And saying FS choked hard and collapsed before my eyes. Before my eyes. Yeah, it was when FS fell apart. Pay to Win would not let up. I mean, wasn't it that point when then people said because the tower was deleted and Pay to Win still rallied and something like that? Oh, when your friend is back here.
Pay to Win still rallied. I don't know anything about that. I just know that Van Vania's getting fast. I just know that
there was something about that they complained.
There was a whole FS drama that they got all their towers deleted by Jason, or I saw some people claiming it was Wyatt the other day when all that stuff was going on, or getting deleted. But basically, it came down to did Sod or did Jason delete all the towers, and there was a big debate. And But all FS towers got fully deleted, and they started getting people zeroed, and they got pushed all the way into
Yes.
Dragon
And I think people
and
said
lost.
because it was kind of that FS got kind of hacked or however you want to call it, and that towers deleted, they should have not rallied. I mean, I feel the same
Yeah, no one got hacked.
I feel
Giving
like
info away isn't getting hacked. That's just it's a choice.
that's why I feel the same when something very, very bad happens. So, for example, I personal by myself, I would not join a rally on a player when, for example, something is like that. There are 5 freaked out, deleted all towers, or someone else hacked or whatever, and then I would not rally the players. That is for me. I know some others do that, and I think there is no right or wrong. It's just for me personal. When someone is kind of in a position where it's not like you pushed the territory, you made progress, and the people just forgot to put their shield up because they are lazy, then you can rally them. But if they are just kind of because they get screwed from an R5 or for someone else, then I would not join.
That actually happened in our KVK. There was an update that came out by the devs when we were against TFS and EXG, and we were down off away from TFS fighting EXG outside the zone when we were cleaning things up and pushing them out. And like basically the towers disconnected because if you had towers connected by a behemoth, the behemoth no longer counted towards your tower, like connecting your land. So EIS lost land, the EXG players lost land, and some were off land. And Praith is the first one that immediately went like, "We're not rallying these." Like she said, "I'm not rallying these people." And I agreed with her, and so we didn't rally any of them because Mr. J messaged me and was like, "Hey, like this isn't our fault. Like, please don't rally our people. Like, our people are off land too, but we had the upper hand. We were the stronger team, so EXG was really the one at risk. So, we didn't rally any of their players during that situation."
And saying nah, skill issue because you got bad org is fair game. You mean don't let peeps who should not have access have access?
Yeah, I kind of
Okay.
agree with that. But like in EXG's stance, it was a game update, and it was the game's fault. It wasn't a R4's fault.
Yeah, I mean that I do understand, but it is not the people at the end of the day. It affects the people who didn't do that. It affects the people who
Yeah,
it affects
I
the
see where
wrong
you're
people.
coming at.
Yes, that
I
is
see where you're coming, but I also see where like
people who
they
do it.
chose to
Yeah.
follow that R5, and that R5 or whatever
Yes.
did it right.
Yeah.
So it's like so you can make both
As I
arguments.
said,
Like
there's no
it's hard
right
to
or
say
wrong.
unless
Yeah.
it's hard to say unless you're in that situation. So,
Yeah.
but when the game does it themselves, like no players involved in that. That's just the game doing stupid stuff.
What is ChatGPT here? According to my calculations, I cannot say this word, that Echo cheese fired for all the KVK. Oh my God, cheese fire! I will hear now forever.
Yeah,
KVKs, they
you're not
have
living that down.
attended. The show, I cannot even read that properly. You should shield up or teleport out when not online or available. And that kind of point, I agree as well. And I mean, I'm always doing that. But for example, the maintenance we had against the Noir fight, there was no
that
possibility you could
sucked
know
too.
that. And in that moment, I would probably not rally people to. That is my personal. I'm not saying that EIS is not doing it. That is Prince's personal.
Yeah, well, luckily, those players, like I said in the last stream, got their like stuff back. Like
Yeah,
they
from the
actually
game.
messaged the game and was like, "Hey, what the heck is this? Like, you took the servers down. I couldn't put a shield on. I went to bed, and then the server randomly comes back up, and now I'm zeroed." And it was like, and then they got like 500k units back or whatever.
Let's all have some cheese fire together. I mean, that is insulting now, Dark. Can you please make there a full block, please? We are not doing this here in caps, insulting other people. So Mystic saying, if it's Echo, I don't care. I'll rally anyway. They won't have respect with anyone, and they're so toxic that I won't think about it. Burn, burn. Oh my God, I never come out of that cheese thing now. That will be forever. The cheese fire. We need a picture of that. We need a meme out of that, a personal. Oh my, block him, Dark, Venue, please, or Dark.
Well, this is like his 7th, 8th account that's been blocked.
Yeah, but he insulted you, and now that is over. it is not we have, but Menu likes to delete his messages, but he's really he's saying this dude is relentless. Um,
Hey man, some people, you know, they whatever they got
yeah,
going on in their life, he's ready for it.
he has probably more monitors than me, so many YouTube accounts he manages.
Well, if he has this many YouTube accounts, he clearly he's used to this.
Yeah, he's maybe an expert about that. I mean, I think we cleared it up here very well, and I think that is from now on, it is. I do feel like there's so much stuff out there, and at the end of the day, people can make up their minds. They can have their opinion, and we have also to respect that we sometimes have just opposite opinions, that we have different perspectives. I just hope for a cool KVK. I mean, look at this. Echo is going wild here. Look at the training they did. I mean, EIS was clearly leading after Trolls, but we all know this event is going decided by training, and the Echo players here are pushing, right? So Elika pushed here a lot of too in the Brink of War. So this
Yeah, I
is
told you W should go hard too.
yeah, WB goes yeah. Is this real Merc who named himself broke after the push? I mean that is kind of crazy numbers. And all these crazy names, guys, some people on both sides, on both sides. There's nothing we have to. It all started when you said cheese fire. Oh, Murder saying he's blocking him every time, not just deleting messages. He has so many accounts. My respect.
Yeah, that's what I told you.
Broke Merc is probably his farm, you think? Now, if anything, devs need to make city rallying great again. I mean, with the new infantry heroes, I feel like the now you can really do some decent damage on when you do city rallies. I feel like a long time the defending position was, in my opinion, a big. You had so many advantages when you got rallied, and I feel like with the new infantry that changed a little bit.
Oh, I
Yeah.
did. Yeah, you definitely have advantage rallying now if the player's offline.
So, Brink of War, what do you expect, Dark? How will we end up? What do you think? I mean,
Well, I expected Echo probably at 1 and WB at 2 and WB competing with them, but from how the score currently shows, I'm not sure that's going to happen. I think well, we have a lot of points for some reason, and we still have a lot more points to go. So I mean, we're not trying to push super hard for number one. We just have a goal of points in mind, and that's what we're getting to. So
yes.
and then what we get from there, we get like, I mean, it's not worth telling your players to push
Yeah.
20 mil, 30 mil when there's greatest height skins out there that they can get 10% buffs for, which is a much larger buff than 1% damage dealt difference between you and another team.
Oh my God, he's back with another one. Menu, thanks. Oh, Murder, thanks. Now Murder is taking over here. So, Murder saying cities should take 100% deaths on a rally, in my opinion. Yeah, Murder is always a fan of that. You can, he says, who is not shielded or who don't teleport out and is not taking care should deserve a 0.
I don't agree on that. I think that's bad for game health, but we can disagree on that.
Make city rallies the same like Bastions, 100% deaths for everyone. I mean, I feel like we don't need 100% that, but I feel like it was a long time. It was so much in favor of the defender. I do agree that for the game health and not make people rage quit, especially on the beginning, it's maybe cool. Okay, he was deleting it by himself. He was calling it back, whatever. I think we can definitely see here. So Brink of War, it looks like that the other three, that 25 IW, Rage, and NTS are trying here. This will be the interesting battle because I don't know if you guys saw, now rank 4 is the March speed. So this is probably what that kind of battle will be here. So they are not pushing so much and they are kind of trying. There will be maybe a close race for the March
Rage
speed.
and NTS are fighting over the March speed, so
I think 25 IW as well.
yeah, maybe.
I mean, last season wasn't with, no, it was one season with A2G when at the end they had.
25's just been falling and falling though since they didn't train a lot. They already did their training by like 200 mil plus, and they kind of stopped. I don't know how much they plan on pushing.
best part on the pay to win versus FS KVK was all the city rallies and rage quits on both sides. I do not remember that so much. Yeah, Mystic saying Humble Pie, we're waiting for more videos, brother. Let's go. Yeah, definitely check out Humble Pie. We need to make a little bit higher pressure. He's always saying, now I'm starting on YouTube. Dark can absolutely confirm. And then he's saying, now I'm making more videos. Then he makes two.
Here's the thing you have to learn about Humble. When he says he's gonna start making more YouTube videos, that means you're getting one video and then he's stopping again. If he says he's gonna play a game with you, that means you got 5 minutes and then he's on to another game. So that's what you gotta learn that from Humble. So we'll see. But he has been posting some YouTube videos recently, so they're entertaining when he does it. So hopefully he keeps going.
Yeah, and he has really, I think he has really, in my opinion, he has really a cool YouTube account. He is a super Kraken whale. He's super funny, and I do really enjoy his content. So I do really hope we get more content out of Humble. And by time, and he's always buying out everything so he can really make good testing videos. He has all the Heroes Max. He's a real Kraken. You should see Humble spending. I can sometimes not. He's just, oh, we got this one. I need to buy that up. Ah, okay. People have mana. We were talking about mana in voice chat. I think was it two nights ago, Dark, I think. And then people were saying how much mana they have stocked up and stuff like that. And then he said, oh, it seems I have to buy the supply station as well. And then she click. Oh, there's that SSVIP store bundle. I just buy it, Princess. Then I can tell you what it is. And he just bought it 5 times. It's just he's clicking. Yeah.
My favorite was your reaction to him using gems in the greatest heights, which is normal for anyone pushing
2 million gems. He used 2 million gems just to speed up training, guys. I'm just saying 2 million gems.
Not to speed up training. He used 2 million to train troops because he's out of speed ups.
Yeah, but he used that gems, 2 million gems in a great height.
Yeah,
imagine
of course.
that.
You can't spend that quick enough in greatest heights for most Krakens to get every skin. You have to use gems if you're going for back-to-back skins.
Okay, here's another thing outcoming. I mean, I can ask you that. And also one WB member saying that Dark asked WB not to use resources in Zone 2, but he was refused. Is that true?
No.
This guy, I mean...
they just keep going.
Yeah. He has a very yo. There's very much accounts in the meantime.
DISS, WB to not resource heal, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, Matcha in the house. Welcome. So this is pretty much it. And so this is just, I mean, you heard it now from Dark what happened. He's still, I think, in a lot of talks out here. Don't you see Nephisto use 7 million gems in Great Heights? Yeah. It seems I missed that. I was just seeing Humble. I was seeing Humble using 2 million gems on a Great Heights, what I spent overall in the game.
Yeah, Nephisto turned on an auto clicker and he walked away and just used all his gems in Greatest Heights on his troops.
Let me read up here. When you was refreshing Quest and murder steals my fun.
It's like whack-a-mole. True, DSR, true.
Benny saying true, but I think this KVK is nail in the coffin for the holy rivalry between them.
Well, we'll see. I highly doubt that.
What would be
as long as they exist, there's going to be a rivalry.
Yeah, I mean, I think that as well. I think, I mean, EIS and Echo will probably always be enemies. And I hope still one time we get still a 1v1 with them because finally now we are closer in power. The last time we fight them in Zone 2, there was a power gap, but now we are closer in power as well, and now it will be cool. And also testing our team and stuff like that. But we will all wait for this one. It is here red marked on the map here. I think the final zone will going to be crazy. That is what everyone was looking for. And I think I do think I never had a really cool long dragon fight beside that one KVK where we had that with against SSG, TFS, and WB. That was a cool dragon zone. But other than that, dragon zones are so boring.
What? This Dragon Zone's gonna be crazy.
This one, yes, and that's why I'm saying I'm excited, because normally Dragon Zones are done so fast and super boring.
That's why this map's great though. This is why I love this map. Like you get your zone 2, your zone 3 fights, more so the zone 2s. And then the Dragon Zone is insane. Like it's very hard to lock someone on this map. You would have to clearly beat them by a long margin and have an enemy team on both sides of them, and like everyone's basically gonna make it to the final zone.
So this is definitely looking exciting. This stream was just a little bit to clarify that, because I feel like it is also, and Dark told me, Princess, will you stream it? We have here the proofs, and I do not wanna, I mean, it is clearly that it was not talked like this, and I think that was to clarify today for here. You could also ask your questions what you have. I hope it helped you a little bit to get the clarity about it. Overall, I think Mark said it very good. We have a balanced KVK. I do think it is a little bit unfair on our side numbers wise. On the other hand, we have the top one team in the game on the enemy side. So let's just see, and let's fight it out on the battlefield. That is my opinion. You have any last words to say, Dirk?
Oh, this is an extremely fun KVK, and I hope everything goes smoothly. We'll see how it goes.
Okay, subscribe to the channel for more content. Drop a like here on the live stream if you want to support me, and then see you the next time. Happy gaming and much love, your princess.